Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to a bonsai retreat. And 18 months ago, 17 months ago, sometime going way back May 2 years ago, my neighbour, who's an absolute, she's brilliant, let me do some air layers on her Japanese maple tree. There's been several videos about it because there have been some problems along the way. In particular, when I tried to adopt Peter Chan's method of using sphagnum moss to help push greater root growth over the winter period, and I made some classic mistakes then, but if you want to know about those, have a look in the description, or better still, the video will be flashing up right there. Needless to say, I haven't quite got the right greenhouse environment to make the sphagnum moss method work for me. But these have now been in repotted soil now for a year. Again, I did another video showing me repotting these and putting them into decent soil, and I reckon it's time for us to have a look and see whether after 18 months we've finally got a good set of developing roots. And of course, this was the other one that I took, much bigger branch, and this one I didn't use sphagnum moss, and it's been in this pot now for the full 18 months, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the roots are like in that. But this one presents a much bigger challenge as to where it's going to go in the future, so I'll be asking what your ideas are for this as well. I kind of feeling there's going to be some more air layers involved. Okay, the first one we're going to look at is this, and this is probably the best of the bunch. I think I did a whole episode about when you do air layers, make sure you actually pick the right spot on the tree and make sure it's worth all the effort, because we're now 18 months further down the line, and probably of all the air layers I did, this is the only one that really has some decent prospect to make a bonsai. That's not to say don't do them, but you know, certainly for the time involved. Now we've clearly got some nice structure up here, but we've got this very thick trunk that goes all the way up here. Now I would suggest that the obvious answer is to have a cut here and then develop there. Now I don't know whether with the maples you can successfully do a V-cut, and I've never really done V-cuts before, but I don't know how they respond to that. So again, straight away, if anyone knows and has done so, please let me know in the comments whether you think if I do a cut here to remove this big hunk, I can eventually put it down into a more V style and make it look more natural. Yeah, I could think about putting an air layer on here and, I don't know, creating something from this, but truthfully there's a lot of material around that I can do air layers on, so I'm not going to do that. So what I will do right now is take away the obvious thing. I'll give it a bit of room. Already makes a difference. Imagine if that's completely gone. It'd be quite interesting. I mean, maybe they'll just have to slowly nibble it down till I get what I want, but yeah, so that's gone. Now with that sort of wound, yes, I could put putty, or I could put some cut paste on it, which is very expensive, or recognising that all I'm really looking to do is to seal it from the elements, stop infections coming in. I'm just going to use some very cheap and affordable petroleum jelly or Vaseline.
Anybody here have some Vaseline?
Cake it on there. That will happily and very cheaply seal that wound. So now all we have to do is find out, have I really got many more roots? I hope so, because the last time I looked at the roots on this, it was a disaster, and I'm sure you remember that. Shall we have a look and see what we've got? Well, that's always a bonus. You know that if ever something comes out as a mass like that, it means something's holding together well and something's probably healthy. Look at that. I can see I've got some quite good surface roots there. In fact, I'm going to go full Nigel on this.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
We're going to do the roots properly. Let's just get the rest of this stuff off, and hopefully I'm going to have some joyous news to present to you. Clearly, there has definitely been loads and loads of roots under there, so this is going to be a fun and satisfying repot, I think. I suppose the big question I'm really looking for is, have I got 360 root coverage? Let's keep getting this dirt away. Now I'm going to be quite careful with this because this has got a really lot of promise, this tree. Right, well I think you'd be the first to agree that we've got certainly a good spread of roots going round this. Got nothing here though, and we've got some from this upper section. On this side we've got a couple of big ones there, and I've got to explore whether there's anything. I don't think there's anything underneath. So there's the root plane that's going to be up there, and from this we've got some stuff going downwards, but again here we've got a good set of roots up here. So we've definitely got 3, 4, 5. Well, I'm happy. We've certainly got 70% coverage of this. So that means that that's going to be the front probably there. I'm already just going to circle it like this. And you might think this is a bit sort of random, but truthfully, that's not needed. It's also an awful lot easier to consider exactly what you've got when it's a lot more tighter and compact like that. To comb this out very gently and carefully. What I will say is they're very strong, the roots on here. I've actually got roots coming up and under that way, which really is not ideal at all. This is definitely going to stay a bare area, or I've never done root grafts, so that might be something I'll do next year. I know my good friend Alex has done, I think he's done some root grafts this year, so I'll have a look and see. But yeah, so I'm going to start chopping away basically stuff that's beneath. Now I've taken quite a lot away, and a lot of what this was all clearing out the base, this part here, and there's lots of stuff going straight down. Not going to be any good if I want to get a nice flat root base. Now there's some curly whirly roots here that are going upwards. If I've got nothing underneath them, then I will probably leave them, but it's just about seeing if we've got stuff in place. We've got stuff pointing upwards, that's not going to be good, although can I settle it down or reposition it? And that's the other thing, potentially you can reposition these roots, put them under others. That one though isn't much good, so I'm going to cut that. These ones that are curling up, remove those. Basically anything where I can see there's potentially going to be some root angle issues. You want them all radiating out in a nice symmetrical plane away from the main roots. Now we've got here these going back and around, so much that I love the fact there's loads of roots there, I'd rather see that that's actually bare and work on that at a future time. So that means we've definitely got this clear and bare, but everything here now is radiating this way. Now I've got lower roots here and then these upper ones here. For now I'm going to leave that like that, and I'm not going to take any more roots off. Not full Nigel, I know, but happy enough for me. I can always come back in another year or 2 years and go again. And I think probably that brings me on to the biggest point from a hobbyist point of view. This is for enjoyment. You don't want to go so far down the road because you've seen someone else, basically cut something back to 2 roots and then spend the rest of your spring and summer worrying that you've ended up killing your tree, and potentially you have. Go at your pace. In the end, it's your hobby, so enjoy it. Now I'm sure it won't surprise anyone. This is going to sit in the centre of a pond basket. I'm actually going to bury it quite deep, and one of the reasons is something that Yella of Growing Bonsai said to me in relation to trident maples, and he said that if you bury your maples a little bit deeper, that can often also promote new roots. So who knows, I may actually encourage some roots higher up here and then potentially be able to put a bit of an angle on that. So I'm not looking at the potting position particularly, I'm just looking at encouragement of roots. So get this in. And for those of you who are still not aware of the soil mix I'm using, it's certainly moved a long way from where I think my original episodes indicated. I was lucky enough to get a large order of zeolite and pumice with Alex last year. I got 30 bags of various grades, so I've definitely gone for a very much more bonsai style inorganic mix with a bit of pine bark, nutrients and stuff like that. But I might do a little short just showing you what I do for that. Anyway. And then again, very carefully, we just want to make sure this is nicely bedded in. Okay, not the most attractive way of securing the tree, but certainly going to be effective. Wire either side, nice plastic tube in the crotch between those 2 thicker branches. All I wanted to do is enough time to keep it secure, certainly in the next 4 to 6 weeks, when the small micro roots will start pushing out. Obviously a lot of the energy is actually going to go up here, So we do want to maximize how much energy it's pulling in from its solar panels. So in terms of pruning, all I want to do is prune away stuff that is going to potential future problems. And then, there's a question about whether we actually want this big branch up here. For now I'm going to say yes, but I'm just going to take that one away. And that one. So we've got stuff coming outwards. I'm happy to leave these as they are right now. Here we've got lots of buds there. And as I say, really, I want this to get vigorous. I want it to put on lots of leaf growth. All I want to do is avoid potentially creating faults later on. They're going to be harder to resolve. 2 there, so we'll cut back to those. 2 on that one, and a couple there. Do you know what? For now, I think that'll be fine. So let me know how much further you think I could go down on there. I'm quite happy to leave it like that for now. The Vaseline, petroleum jelly, whatever, will keep it sealed, safe from infections and drying out. So I'm quite happy to leave that for another year and watch. I want this to all flourish out, loads and loads of leaf panels, because I want mega root production. But apart from that, it's got a slow release root feed from Oceana, and I think that is potentially the best of the Airlayers I took. Alright, there's no doubt this one's an awful lot more difficult.
That's an understatement.
And in many ways, there's part of me that's going, this is all about taking this back to very low and growing it from just this basic trunk at the bottom. I've never done that before, so I don't know how long it'll take, but I do know that Japanese maple bud profusely if they're healthy. I do see potential for taking an airlayer somewhere up here, and there's also this interesting movement here, so I may well take an airlayer here and aim at a semi-cascade. And again, I thank Yellow of Growing Bonsai, who gave me that idea when we did my Katsura last year. And if you haven't seen the results of that Katsura, it's all looking pretty good. I'll give you some updates in the spring tour, but if you want to be reminded, then there's a link up there. Definitely going to be stuff in the description. Let me know if you think I could equally take both tops off here and then regrow. I think I can regrow from new shoots. In fact, I know I can, but let me know what you would do. Let's get it out of this first and have a look and see just how good the roots have developed. I think the thing that I love most about this, one, it's all hanging together. We've got roots at the bottom, we've got some roots out at the bottom, it's good soil. Now, the thing I like best about doing it this way is that, if you can find the tree to do the airlayers on, this is basically only costing you time, which is a valuable commodity, I'm sure, and soil. We've definitely got some roots down here. It's where they come from here is the important part. Voyage of discovery. Okay, well, I'll keep working my way around and I'll show you how it looks at the end. But you can already see there, we've got definitely a root plane lower down. Got the classic conundrum with this. I've taken off a great big hunk of wood that was at the base, but we've got roots at the top here on top of the callus. We've also got roots growing from a centimetre below the callus. Then we've got a very big heavy, it's probably a pencil thickness root going straight down from that callus to a lower plane, and that's creating a root structure right down here, which, bearing in mind we're going to do this great big fat callus, I don't know whether that can be chomped or eaten away at a later stage, but we're giving us 2 root planes. So, I mean, up here I've got enough roots growing, but there's still going to be this chunk of callus there. Now, as I say, I'm relatively new to airlayers, so this is the first, well, I've done about 7 or 8, but I've never had this sort of callusing issue in 2 levels. I've cut back any obvious stuff going down or anything I don't like, but again, I'm hoping that what's going to end up happening is I'm going to be able to get more roots from here. I'm going to continue to clean this up, but hopefully what will happen is that the next time I repot, I'll be able to take off this lower plane here. And truthfully, tell me in the comments if you think I could have done it now, but I'll leave it for now because I'm not entirely sure. And again, like all repots, we still want to make sure that we get all those air pockets filled with soil where possible. What's absolutely brilliant about the maple is right down there, little bud there that's growing. Now, No, I don't think I'm going to be regrowing the tree from down the base there, but I have no doubt that as I do more cuts, we're going to get potential buds from different places. So now that's pretty well everything I do, but I can definitely see there being an argument that maybe we've got buds here. I'm not sure about the bud there, but the bud there, if that grows out, then I can cut here. Certainly the air layer I'm going to take is going to be across there. See if we get some interesting movement up on this one here. So I'll take an air layer somewhere low in this area here. But looking at regrowing something from here, or potentially cutting here and getting something growing from there out. In fact, let me know, would you cut all the way back there as the final cut for this? This I quite like the look of. Let that go for now. And then looking here, it's a tough decision because this is all very, very consistent. There's no taper on there at all. But I quite like the potential here with these ones. And I don't know whether, again, an air layer here, you can get either a semi-cascade potentially on this one or not. I don't know. But tell me how low down here you would potentially cut for the encouragement of a new bud or new base. I'd be very interested in your views on this one because I'm open. Again, nice and deep on the trunk because I'm hoping for roots higher up, and I did open up the callus again to hopefully encourage some more roots. I don't know whether I might just leave this for a year to try and get the root growth down so everything's going to the new roots rather than try and get the air layers this year. Again, let me know in the comments if you had success post repot. Personally, my view is leave this for a year, look at air layers in 2025. If you disagree, then let me know. But otherwise, this just needs to continue to develop. I will just clean up bits where I don't. I mean, we've got these lovely branches. What I don't want is energy being wasted on some of these buds here. So I'm just going to clean these up a little bit. And you could argue that I'd potentially end up removing buds from places that I want. But as I don't know what I want right now, that's a silly statement anyway. Good with silly statements. I mean, say looking potentially, I don't know, there's lots of straight sections, so that's got to be removed. But everything up here is a waste. Although, again, if it's creating foliage, that's going to create the energy necessary to help produce the roots I want through the year. So, not really going to do much more with this. Let's have a look at one more maybe? Yeah, why not? Okay, in this third monster, I'll have a look in the roots. It's going to be exactly the same issue with the roots. I'm going to put it into a bigger pond basket. What I might do now is I'll remove some obvious broken bits. This great big long branch here, I'm actually going to cut and remove this and see if this could become part of a tree. And come back to you when I've done that, and then I might ask for your views on that one. Okay, with my trusty long Japanese Japanese saw. That's been my dreams, that. I'm a Shogun warrior. Cut that great big branch off. Yeah, I could take cuttings off that right now and more than likely have some good success with them, but I've got yards of maples, so I'm not going to bother. Although, I've done this little one. I might do this one. Just put it in the soil. That's where we are now. Look, it's an absolute mess. The chances are we could end up losing this entire section here. But I'm not willing to give up on it quite yet. But I think that's likely. And this is an example of picking the wrong place to put the air layer on in the original. I mean, there's a great big long stretch here of about a foot, so I don't know. It depends. I may well go at an angle. Who knows? I think I'll be using this one to experiment on and stuff like that. But hey ho, that'll be roughly what it looks like. Let's not bother trying to pick buds. I want all those buds to produce leaves, to produce roots. I'm going to get this out, have a look how good the roots are, do the same process as I did with all the others, get it in a pond basket, and I'll show you when it's finished. Well, it's typical that probably the least promising of all the trees has the best root structure on it. But again, this is the one that didn't go into sphagnum, went into decent potting soil, straight at separation, and I got the chance obviously then to sort out the roots. So we've got one bare area here, so I'll open up without cutting myself or destroying more roots. Okay, but yeah, apart from that, I've pretty well got roots all the way around it. Anyway, there it is. Absolute mess there. Potentially this is just going to be another piece for lots of air layers off, but I'd like to think I can try and get something from it.
Headache.
And I'd rather it didn't go onto the bonfire of shame at bonfire night. But there it is. I'll water it. It'll go down to the shady area of the garden. Of all of the three, this has the best root structure. So I'm really invested in trying to make a decent tree of it. So again, let me know in the comments what you'd do. Well, this has been full of some interesting ongoing work on air layers and repotting them, and hopefully that's given you some a taste of the fun we can have with stuff that we can source for nothing locally if you've got a good neighbour or someone who's willing to let you hack away at their tree. Although it's great fun and really satisfying doing all these air layers and doing all the repots and those and seeing all that work, it's not like seeing something that's nearer the finished product. And this little maple is part of 4 that I've been working on over the last sort of 7 years. Absolutely disgusting scar there, which I'm really upset about, but because that was going to be my front. But it's time to come out of the plastic training pot, and I think I'm going to have to go for the front there where you haven't got the scar. That's the pot that I'm thinking of. It's a Dawn Isaac ceramic. It's actually a little bit big for that, I know that, but I just want to spoil it. So I'm going to pot it up, put it in that, and show you how it looks. Well, there it is. The root system has been developing nicely, didn't have to do very much with it. Literally, take it out of one pot and put it in this. It has a long way to go, I know. I said it was nearly finished, it's not really. It's probably the closest that I've got to some of the stuff that I've been developing myself. It's bonsai, and I'm really happy with it. I imagine it's going to look great in another 5 weeks' time when all the blooms are out. But there it is. I'm hoping the blue will work well with the leaf colours. I do wish I didn't have so much scarring there, but what can you do? It's the trouble with some of these ugly trunk chops we do sometimes without knowing just how hard it is to heal. But there it is. So that's my Japanese maple repotted. Hope you've enjoyed that. A right old ramble, I'm sure. If you did, big like. If you think someone else would enjoy it, please share it and make sure you've subscribed if you haven't already. And I wish you all the best. Happy bonsaiing. God bless. Cheers.